Welcome to my crafty update. This is my little art and craft summary of everything I've been up to over the last 2 weeks and a little bit about my life's journey as well. I've been quite occupied actually over the last 2 weeks, and I also had the little luxury of having the house to myself for 7 days. So my normal routine has been completely out of sync, but it has meant that I could get on with some of the more messy and absorbing projects without having to worry too much about real life. So some of the projects that I have been working on may not actually be published for several weeks, but they are definitely on the schedule, and I have recorded them all, but I haven't edited them all. I've just been on a make session. Anyway, as usual, if you do want to watch a particular project or would just like to see what I've been doing in my sketchbooks, do use the timestamps in the video description to just navigate your way around, and you can skip over anything you're not interested in straight to the bits that you are. Now, I usually start off with my sketchbooks, so I thought I'd mix it up a little bit this week and start with my crafts. So a couple of weeks ago I showed you that I'd picked up a resin kit and a marble pour kit. I have managed to do both of them in the last week, and they were a lot of fun to do. The results, my first attempts, were not very good at all. But I can see the potential, and I can see why people really enjoy doing it. I loved doing both of them. They were a little bit messy, but I'm really super keen to give it all another go. But I will have to wait until I can get some canvases, and also I'll need to kind of wait until I have the time and the space to actually make a big mess like that. The next crafty thing, Jane Austen. Well, I pulled off all of that hair that wasn't working, and that was a really tough job to do. I thought I was going to rip her head off at one point. Basically, the fabric hardener that I use is a very, very strong glue. You know, I use this because it makes a really strong bond, and it was really tough to get that hair off, but I did manage to do it, and I have replaced the hair. I've painted the highlights in the hair, but unfortunately I got a bit of paint on her dress. I'm usually so careful, but so what I've had to do is to find some way of covering up that paint smudge, and then she'll just need varnishing. So it's taken months and months and months, but by the time my next crafty update comes around, she should be finished and good to go. Yay! Oh my goodness. Will I do another one? Yes, because I have said that I will record the whole process so that you can learn how to make your own little figurines. But it is a long process. It takes months and takes lots and lots of drying time in between, but it's on the list. And my new ink palette that I've been working on, well, I've scooped out all the middle so the bottles fit, and I've painted it with some black paint and added a little bit of gold leaf, because who doesn't like a bit of gold leaf? I've given it 1 coat of varnish on the bottom, and it will need 2 coats of varnish on the top. So again, this one is almost finished, and I should be able to show you the finished result in the next crafty update. Ooh, I've been on fire, haven't I? So the other thing I've been getting up to is I realised that it's been 1 year since I published my first flower making tutorial. That one isn't actually active anymore. So the thing is, I started doing the tutorials because I thought it would be lovely to show everyone how to make the flowers that I've been working so hard making over the last 8 years or so. The trouble is, I'd never done videos before. I didn't even know how to put the videos on the computer. My very first tutorials were blimmin' awful. They were wobbly, they were out of focus, and the audio was awful. So a lot of the early tutorials I've taken down, and I have redone some of them. So I've redone tutorials for the hybrid rose and the nostalgia rose, and so after those two we'll go back to publishing a regular tutorial once a month on the first Sunday of the month. So that's it for the craft, and I think what I'll do now is, well, let's go to my Doodlebook, shall we? So my Doodlebook, yes, I've been quite busy on that in the evenings as well. The first one here was a little bit more neurographic leaning, and then I went back to just looking up doodles and tangles and then pulling out different tangles and just putting them on the page just to try them out. I am aware that some of these tangles have names, and what I really should do is make a note of the names of the tangles on the page so that I can tell you which tangles I've been using, and then if you see one you like, you could have a go yourself. I will try to remember to do that. And this one with all the circles was an image that I saw on Pinterest, and I thought, oh, I want to have a go at doing that. And it was, yeah, quite repetitive to do actually, and it wasn't as good as the one that I saw on Pinterest. But you know, it was on the list, so I did it. The next one is a little bit more whimsical. I quite like it actually. I think I might do a few more like that as well. And these next two, well, I did the black and white one and I really liked it, and I didn't want to ruin it with colour, so I thought I would take the bits from that and redo it on the next page, which I did. And then, yeah, I overdid it. I think it's very easy to overdo the colours on these. I think finding the balance between the white areas, the black areas and the coloured areas is quite tricky actually. Yeah, I think it's quite tricky because in my Neurographic sketchbooks I was tied to just using a few colours. Now I've got all the colours of the rainbow at my fingertips. I think I'm just going a little bit too far. So the next page I just played around with the circle shapes from the previous drawings. I did one in blues and one in greens, different shade of greens, and the last one was in two colours. I think the happy medium for these tangly doodle pictures is no more than 3 colours. If you start adding more colours to the mix, it just gets too much. And even on this next one, I think I've overdone the colours just a little bit. I think what I'm going to try to do is just stick to no more than 3 colours, but using similar shades, if that makes sense. We shall see. The next one was way too busy. Again, there was too much going on, and I think the patterns were too small. This next one, I tried to keep it simple, a little bit organic, but I did feel that it needed to be a little bit bolder, so I did then try again. But let's not forget this one here. I loved this one. I really loved putting it together, and I loved it so much that I have done an A4 size version, which I'll show you in a second when I talk about the Neurographic work. And the next 2 pages, oh goodness, these are just, there's too much going on. I think what's happened is when I started doing the Doodlebook and the tangles, I was being a bit more balanced, and I think now I'm just overdoing it. I think to get an attractive result, I think you need to keep it a little bit simpler. Note to self. And this last one, I also did this as a full process video in 2 different colours actually. Similar design, not exactly the same. So I suppose I should just briefly talk you through these. So for the Tuesday full process videos, I've recorded the 3rd one of the red floating bubbles. So I've done 3 of these pictures now, and in different colours and very slightly different styles. But I kind of in my head set myself rules. I think I've said this before, maybe I haven't. I kind of set rules that, oh, if the circle's got a line going through it, then it's got to have this colour, or if it's got 2 lines going through it, it's got to look like this. Kind of like I have little, rules in my head. Does that make me a little bit crazy? Probably. But it works. It really works. If you're doing something like this, have a little rule, like the outer ones all need to be one colour, and if it's a triangle shape, then it has to be this colour. For some reason it actually works. I don't know why. I think that's why I've had quite a lot of success with quite a lot of my neurographic pictures. So the other 3 were based on images in my Doodlebook that I've just shown you, and I have recorded all 3 of these as a full process video, and they will all be lined up for my Tuesday full process videos. Every Tuesday there's a full process video, so even if you don't want all the other crafts, Tuesday is the day. What else have I been doing? Well, do you remember this? It's my Portrait Sketchbook. I have picked it up. I've attempted a portrait. I stopped. I stopped because it wasn't going quite right. It's fine as a picture. I think, it looks like a person, but it doesn't look like the person that I was trying to draw. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. Even if I only do 1 picture a month in this sketchbook, that's fine. I will keep hammering away at it. When I get the inclination, I'll pick it up and I'll see how it goes. It's unfortunate because some of the earlier sketches were a lot better, and I don't know if something's changed in my mindset. Maybe it has. Maybe, I don't know. I just don't know. My other sketchbook, my Oil Pastel Sketchbook. Oh, that's right. Last time I'd done 1 river scene in here, and I said I was going to try another river scene, which I did. Yeah, I kind of just love just getting some colour down on that page, and I like the effect, really. It didn't work so well when I tried to do a sunset. Yeah, I've got a whole sketchbook to fill. I'm still learning. What can I say? Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I think with oil pastels, you have to pick your subject. Some things will work and some things won't. This didn't work for me. Before I go on to my regular sketchbook, I will just quickly show you the watercolour I did, a repeat of the sunset. It's like I have successes and then I have disasters, and this week has been, well, the last 2 weeks has been a run of successes and a run of disasters. But if you don't try, you don't know, right? So this watercolour sunset picture is my 3rd attempt at this scene. It's not great. I'm glad that this time I used the pen for the windmill, because it actually looks like a windmill now and not a blob. But I figured out, I spent ages learning how to do a background wash, like a gradient wash on a watercolour page. I thought I'd nailed that, but this kind of wishy-washy, I just cannot master it. Do you know what? I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to look up a tutorial from someone who says, learn how to do watercolour, easy tutorial, and I'm going to follow it step by step, and we'll see just how easy that tutorial is. Maybe that will be my turning point. Yeah, let's do that. I will put that on the list to do. It might not be for the next few weeks, but I definitely am going to try that. Right, my regular sketchbook. Well, I haven't done very much in here actually, but what I have done has taken quite a long time to do. I've been using my new dip pen and ink, and again, these are buildings that I have been photographing when I've been on my little jollies, and quite a lot of these are now churches because I think I've exhausted the castle ruins and the abbey ruins. But yeah, so this is one of the churches that we visited. I'm not a terribly religious person, but I do love going to the old buildings. And this was a street scene of some old houses in one of the villages that we visited. And this was a side door on a church with its very Tolkien-esque doorway. Absolutely loving using the dip pen. I've had a few disappointments with the dip pen that I've been using, and I will put up the full review of that at some point. A quick spoiler, I mean, the pen started falling apart after I finished this drawing. So yeah, will be putting that up as a full review. So yeah, that is it for my arts and crafts for the last 2 weeks. And like I say, if it looks like I have been super busy, it has been simply because I haven't had any responsibilities for 7 days straight. I've just had to eat, sleep and draw. Yay! Well, that's not strictly true. I did have to do one thing. So yeah, let's have my little health update, shall we? Well, yeah. If you're new and you haven't read my video description, do go and read the little summary about all my health issues. I will have to update that with something new, but oh gosh, where do I start? Okay. Basically, I haven't been well since the 1st of October 2022. That is over 18 months. I have mentioned the Graves' disease, which if you Google that, you will see some horrific pictures of people with really bulgy, googly eyes. And with all of the infinite gratitude I can muster, my eyes do not look like that. I never really had any terrible symptoms or visible symptoms of the Graves' disease, other than I had tremors. And they only started a few weeks before I actually got my diagnosis. So they caught my Graves' disease very quickly, and I've been on some tablets called carbamazole. Over the last few days, I had the really good news that my thyroid levels are actually back to normal. Whoop! They're not a little bit too high, they're not a little bit too low, they're normal. So I actually do feel quite blessed about that. I'm just super pleased. I've still got to take my medication because they want to make sure that my levels stay where they are. So it's just monitoring me. So, fingers crossed, and let's hope that resolves itself. Gosh, wouldn't that be nice? Unfortunately, I'm still under the care of rheumatology and dermatology. I've got no news with the rheumatology yet. I will have another appointment next month and they might put me on some more tablets. I'm doing okay. It's the same old, same old. I'm having a good day. I'm having a bad day. So I'm still having good days and I'm still having bad days. And if I overdo it, I can have a few bad days in a row. I get tired very quickly. I'm physically very weak. But the medications I've been on have taken away pretty much all of the pain, apart from when I've been having a flare-up. They've given me my brain back. Oh my god, brain fog. Honestly, brain fog. It's like someone has woken you up at 3 a.m. and you're like, where am I? Who am I? That's what brain fog is like all day long. I'm so glad I don't have that anymore. Yeah, so I'm sorry, this bit's a bit lengthy, so I hope that you'll enjoy watching the drawing in the background. Dermatology, I chased them up this week because I hadn't had my follow-up appointment yet. And yeah, right, I won't give you the long story, I'll give you the short story. Basically, there's this mark on my face that's been there since January 2023. This isn't the short story. Let me go to the short story. I saw a doctor at the hospital. It wasn't my usual doctor. And she's basically treating me for cutaneous lupus, which is what the biopsy said it was 6 months ago, that the previous doctor said it wasn't. I know. Crazy, isn't it? Anyway, I am about to start a course of some topical steroids. And I have to slather myself in Factor 50 sun cream twice a day and every 2 hours if I'm outside. And it's just annoying because, my treatment could have been started 6 months ago if the doctor had actually looked at the pathology report and said, well, it could be this, but let's start treating you for this anyway. Anyway, yes, that is my health update and my life update, and thanks for listening. It's good to vent sometimes, isn't it? And I basically had no one to talk to for 7 days, so that's probably why I've got a bit more to say. Oh dear. Anyway, so yeah, look, thank you for listening to me ramble on. I do hope that you've been working on something interesting over the last couple of weeks, and even if that's just one picture, that's one picture that you might not have done. I do hope that you found time to do something that you enjoy making or drawing over the last couple of weeks. I don't want anyone to feel like they should be doing more just because it looks like I've been doing a lot. I've had the house to myself for 7 days. No responsibilities, nothing. Just me and my sketchbooks and my paints and my oil pastels and my craft equipment. If you've got any questions at all, just pop them in the comments below and I will get back to you as soon as I see them. And if you've made it this far, thank you. Do give me a thumbs up, that would be awesome. Totally awesome as well. And I hope that you enjoy the next round of videos over the next 2 weeks, and I'll be back with another chatty one in 2 weeks' time.